Tractate Sotah, page 6, 8 lines from the top of the page. We explained that in general the law of levirate marriage, which we study in Tractate Yevamot, speaks about a woman that her husband passed away and she's childless, and therefore there's an obligation upon her brother-in-law, the surviving brother, to marry her, etc. But when it's come to Sotah, the issue of women or unfaithful to her husband, that's not applicable. Another reason, the Gemara said, Rava Amar Kal Vachomer, Im Nesra Bamotar La Ba'asur La Lo Kol Sheken, meaning the husband who was basically supposed to be her spouse, the trustworthy spouse between the two, now because things happen, immoral act, they are no longer be able to be together in a unit of husband and wife, since he acts in the kinui, warning, and stira, seclusion. So now it's the asula, meaning the yavam, the brother-in-law, who is prohibited her as long as she married to his brother, the late brother, lo kol sheken, that now, because of that, it's a new circumstance, there's no way they can have an act of yibum. Amar le'abaye, ela me'ata, the way that you approach, kohen gadol shekidesh et almana. Imagine if Kohen Gadol, as the Torah instructed us in book of Vayikra, chapter 21, Kohen Gadol is prohibited even not only divorce, but also a widow. So, but the Gemara in Yevamot, page 20, said that b'diavad, in a sense of the retrospect, in the way that we look, hindsight, thank you. So, Kiddushim Tofsim, it's somehow, it's accepted Kiddushin even it's in violation. So here you see a situation that Kohen Gadol betrothed a widow who met, and he's no longer among the living. V'yesh lo ach kohen idiot. Now we have a brother that is a regular kohen, that now the almona, the widow, fall to a brother for yibum. Now, as you know, almona, the widow, prohibited only to Kohen Gadol, but not to, not to Kohen Idiot. So if the Kohen Gadol married her, so she, based on the Mishnah in Yevamot 84, she allowed to marry the surviving brother. Lo tityabem. Why? The same logic idea. Im nesra bamotar la basura lo kol sheken. If her husband, who was the high priest, and he is prohibited to marry a widow, so now that his surviving brother, who is the yavam, because of the union of that marriage, he is prohibited to her, how much so that she is prohibited to act in a manner of yibum, of levirate marriage toward him. So he said, ne'esra ha'asira ve'kaima, motar la asur lahu. It's prohibited. So ela eshet kohen shenensa. You have to say here, you talk about the wife of the kohen that was raped, so therefore she becomes forbidden to her husband, who is the kohen. That's what the Torah said, that if a Eshet Israel was raped, so v'hilo nitpasa, the Torah said that if she raped, she can stay with the marriage union with the husband. Versus Eshet Kohen is a different story. But now after that, she is prohibited to, as a wife of Kohen, to stay with the married with the husband, and umet, and he passed away childless, without have the opportunity to divorce her. V'yesh lo achalal. But unfortunately, as a brother who is a Kohen that disqualified due to a flawed lineage. So halal, for those who are not familiar, when you speak about the brother who is halal, is basically literally meaning desecrated. It's the idea that when it was a union between Kohen and something that prohibited to him by the Torah law, which is the divorcee, in a way the child lost the opportunity of being a Kohen, and he is in that category. Leviticus 21 he's no longer in the category of Kohen, it's called halal. So the Gemara explains in Kiddushin 77 that that's the way we derive also the Kohen Gadol from that sense. Lo tityaben im ne'esra b'mutar la ba'asur la kol sheken. If she was prohibited to her husband who is the Kohen, that originally she was allowed to have normal union relation with him, now the brother, the surviving Yavam brother, that prohibited to her while she was married, how much so? So Rava responded and he said, Ones beYisrael mishra shari. If God forbid is a rape that happened in a woman, is completely permitted if it's a regular Israelite. So therefore, a married woman raped by another man may remain with her regular Israel husband. V'gabei dehai miha leika isura. With the brother of the deceased, the halal, in any event there is no prohibition. The fact that women prohibited to her halal brother-in-law while she was married to her husband is immaterial. So we should know the way that Rashi explained to us. We differentiate between zinta beratzon, it was her willingness to have this prohibited relation, or it was a situation that under the circumstance of rape. Anyway, the Mishnah now, we follow the previous Mishnah that said that if the husband warned and then she was in the secluded manner with another man, so she's no longer, if he's a Kohen, she can no longer eat from the Truma until the case will be clarified by drinking the bitter water. So here is the cases that unfortunately she will be prohibited from eating Truma forever. Ve'elu asurot mi le'echol bitruma, and these are the lists. Rashi said even the married to Kohanim, that they are prohibited to eat from the kehuna forever. For example, if they are daughters of Kohanim, that they can, if they go back to their father's house, they can eat Truma. Ha'omeret tme'a ani lecha, meaning if the wife said to her husband, the Tosfot in Yevamot 74 elaborates, 44 elaborates and said that if she said to him, I was prohibited in a matter of adultery while we are married, so therefore I am prohibited to you, since she admitted that she behaved in such a way under her husband, you do not need to go to a process of checking, and she is from now on prohibited to eat truma. V'shebao edim, if there are witnesses that come out shehit me'ah, so since there are clear witnesses that she is impure, then again is prohibited. V'omeret eini shota, meaning she afraid to drink their water. So therefore the Meiri said, since she in the state of predicament, safek, she cannot eat the truma. V'sheba'ala eno rotze la'ashkota, the husband doesn't want to bring it to Beit HaMikdash to have her drink the water. V'sheba'ala ba'alea baderech, meaning the process is the woman that the husband warned her and she is secluded, so at the time being until you bring it to Beit HaMikdash and she go the process of purification with the water, he is prohibited to have a relation with her. While they go to Yerushalayim, on the way, he cohabited with her. So here we, in the square one, the water will not be able to prove anything. So there is a Mishnah Lamelech and also is a Tosfot that explains, we basically ask a question, how come she's ne'emenet, she's trustworthy to say that I'm ritually impure? We learn in Yevamot that Shema natnai na be'acher, that maybe she have a different motive, she have another man in her eyes, in her mind, and that's the way she saying to her husband that somebody else have relation with her in order to go to someone else. So Tosfot explained that there is a concept we learn, raglaim ladavar, there is some background to that. He warned her, and it serious possibility that she was seen. So therefore, she is ne'emenet, she is trustworthy. So the Chavot Yair elaborate on that, and he said, if it's a woman that make a vidui, a confession before she passed away, she's sick, so she admitted before she passed away why she confesses that she have relation with other men in her lifetime. And then all of a sudden she was healed. And now she come back and she said to the rabbi, I lied when I made that confession at that time. So the Chavot Yair said, no, we believe that she said the truth at the time of crisis, great stress and confession, but you have a big discussion how far you go with that act of vidui. So now the Gemara bringing rules that derivative or inferred from our Mishnah. אמר רב עמרם המילתא אמר לן רב ששת ואנהר לן עינין ממתניתין. So basically this statement, Rav Sheshet, whom we already know that he was unfortunately a blind person, so they said that either he enlightened our understanding, or the Rashash and others said that based on Gemara in Brachot 58, he was the enlightened scholar, especially since he was blind. Sotah sheyesh la edim b'mdinat hayam, which means if you have a sotah, that there are witnesses that are overseas, that they caught her, have relation with another person, that the husband already warned her and she secluded herself with that individual. Ein hamayim bodkin ota. They did not go to the ritual of the water, because if you have the witness that saw it, that basically saved the whole process of ritual checking with those bitter water. The whole concept of the Torah Parshat Naso, book of Bamidbar, chapter 5, is when she's secluded and become ritually impure or impure, and is no witness, the leika de adaba, la pukeha de aika de adaba, because this fellow already knows about her, so you don't need to go through the process of the bitter water. Now, Rav Amram elaborates and explains how Rav Sheshet brings a proof from our Mishnah. Ve'anhar lan ainin mimatnitin. Rav Sheshet enlightened us in this notion from our Mishnah. Dekatane. So the Mishnah brings us among those women that prohibited forever. V'sheba'ula eidim shehit me'a. When you have witnesses that come and testify that she is ritually impure, the atu eidim eimat. When those witnesses came and testified that she is ritually impure, ineima mikamei detishtei zonahi. If they came before she drank the water, we already know that she is in a category of zonah, which means that he is a man forbidden to her by the Torah, and she is confirmed adulteries, as it is obviously prohibited for her to partake of truma. Ela levatar dishtai, after that she drank the water, I amart bishlamayim amayim bodkin ota shafir. If you tell me that the water was not the one who checked her, that's what we understand it. I amart mayim bodkin ota tigale milta lemafrea desahade shakareninu. So here you have a retroactive understanding that those witnesses are not truthful. So here is the proof from the Mishnah that even she become ritually impure, the water will not be able to check her. So the Gemara basically explains how even one witness is befitting for that manner of tum'ah, regardless if you come before and after. But the Rambam in Hilchot Sotah chapter 3 said that the one witness is not sufficient, and is the Chazon Ish in Even HaEzer Kuf Lamed Gimel, and also the Ivnei Miluim elaborates in that and said that how far you go with that notion. So here is the Rambam just reading some of the Rambam in Hilchot Sotah, chapter 3. If two witnesses testified with regard to the infidelity of a Sotah who exhibited none of the effects of guilt from drinking the bitter water, she becomes forbidden to her husband and is divorced without receiving payment of a marriage contract. As the water tests only a woman for whom there are no witnesses at all to her infidelity. If, after drinking the bitter water, one witness testifies with regards to her infidelity, she is not required to leave her husband. But again, the whole idea is that they are shakareninu. So the whole idea is that we take it as they are not people that we can, they are false witnesses, because that she survived the drinking of the bitter water, which indicate that she never committed adultery. So, Amar Rav Yosef responded to Rav Amram and he said, L'olam malach ma'im bodkim ota, v'ha'emor zchut tolar ala. That's fascinating. That the meaning, either because they are not truthful, the witnesses, or she have other merits, it depends on whom you take. But the idea is that the water is not giving the right test, because in this case that those witnesses are not truthful. So b'maika miflege, what's the really disputation between Rav Sheshet and Rav Yosef? Why Rav Sheshet said that he have a proof from the Mishnah, Rav Yosef said that is not. B'mitnavna de Rebbe. They are disputed in regards to deteriorates, as explained by Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Here is the idea. Rabbi Omer zchut ola b'mayim amarim, ve'nat yoledet ve'na mashbachat. So meaning she will not going to pass because of drinking the bitter water, but she cannot have any children. Ela mitnavna v'olechet, that she is going to be degraded physically and eventually to pass. Lesofi meta b'ota mita, and eventually she will pass. So meaning she have the zchut, Rashi said that she will not puff up immediately, but the reality is that eventually she will deteriorate it. So the Mishnah speaking for sure that didn't happen right after the act of the drinking the water. Otherwise we know that she's tme'ah and she's prohibited to eat truma even with no witnesses. Rav Yosef savar leRabbi havya mitnavna, leRabbanan lo havya mitnavna. So it's only the according to Rav Yosef in the Mishnah, the sages disputed the Rebbe, and they hold that if she have some privilege, some zchut, so the whole matter of water delayed, and you don't see any sign of deterioration by her body. And whenever the time comes for those water to be actively effective, she die right away. According to a Kabbalah, when we talk about Egla Arufa, the story in the Torah with they found a body and they slaughter a calf, the elders declare that Yadeinu, our hand is not speed that blood. So according to Kabbalah, the Tolaim, those nuggets, those worms that eating the body, from that Egla Arufa, they eventually reach those nuggets to the murderer. But anyway, the Rashba ask a question based on this: if it's enough that you have one witness, and it may be it is the adulterer that have a relation with her, so you have here a situation that the water will not prove anything. How that can be? Says maybe her merit zchuta garmala, maybe her merit caused her, but she's basically in reality sotah. So the Mishnah Lamelech explained that it's only a dut sheruya להעיד, some witnesses that she will be feeding. But I remember Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, my teacher and mentor, he said, we have some vicious medical doctors that figure out, this person is going to die in a couple of days. Why should we put a great effort to make him live another week? Why bother with him? So here from this Braita, Reb Shlomo Zalman said, we learn the importance in Judaism of every hour of life of a person. Because think about the Sotah. If she have a zchut, if she have the privilege, she is going and mitnavenet, she going down, but very slowly. So you ask a regular secular medical doctor, he says, oh, let them pass right away. But by us, it's not like that. Every moment we value, right? We not allow even to have which call passive euthanasia. It's even passive euthanasia is prohibited. Mativ Rav Shimi bar Ashi. Rabbi Shimon אומר אין זכות תולה במים המרים. Rabbi Shimon said that the married will not, he disputed the sages and he said that you cannot tell me that the action of the water delayed because of the merit of that sotah. ואם אתה אומר זכות תולה במים המרים, מדחה אתה את המים בפני כל הנשים השותות. So basically all the women will not be afraid or not be concerned because they know it's not effective. ואתה מוציא שם רע לטהורות ששתו, and you bring a bad reputation for those pure that drank it. והן אומרים, and people said, טמאות היו לה שלא להם זכות. They're basically not faithful, not truthful, but because they have other זכות, that's what caused them not to have the water and effective. ואם איתה יש לה עדים מבנת הים נמי, אתה מוציא שירה על טהורות ששתו, והן אומרים, טמאות היו יש לך עדים מבנת הים, the same way, the same notion. So according to that view of Rabbi Shimon, there is no such a thing that me'akev, and nothing avoids the water from being effective, unlike the view of Rav Sheshet. So Rabbi Shimon ka'amart, Rabbi Shimon midizchut lo kalnya, lo talya, that for sure the zchut, the merit is not the one, adim name lo talu. So as we said, that if בעלה בדרך, if the husband have relation on the way to Beit HaMikdash, Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai agree that mayim will not be effective. And in that phase in the Torah, the Meshech Chochma, Rabbi Udvinsk, have a big malach. You're going to tell me that from now on they're living with the Isu, they're living with the prohibited union because she have some zchut, שיש לה חזקת טהרה, because if you think about מי-סוטה, the whole purpose, the Meshech Chochma explained, is disappearance of the idea of רגליים לדבר, that the whole רגליים לדבר is no longer applicable. So therefore you have חזקת טהרה, and she allowed, and basically the מי-סוטה take away the רגליים לדבר. But anyway, מטיב רב, some say that is רבה, it cannot be רב. ואילו שמנחותיהן נשרפות, here are the Sotah women whose meal offering are burned and not offer on the altar. So the process of the Sotah is, the first stage is called Minchat Knaot. The first stage in the Sotah is bringing a offering. It's called Knaot, which is an integral part of the Sotah procedure, and the husband bring for his wife 1/10 of a far flour that is made out of barley for mincha. The reason that it's a seorim is a barley is because they said that she made maaseh be'emah, so they bring for the food for animals, and when they drink the water, the kohen bring the mincha offering on the altar. So the mincha will not be fitting to be offered if they already put it inside the kli sharet, the sacred vessels, because they have which we call kedushat haguf, the sanctification of the body itself, and you cannot redeem it and make it as a non-consecrated item. So they said ve'elu sheminchotehem, this one are the menachot, that meal offering that be burned. Ha'omeret tme'ani 6b, if she said I am defiled. So the Rashi explained to us, based on the Mishnah we're going to study next page 7, that after they put the bincha, the meal offering, inside the kli sharet, the sacred vessel, she came before the court, they frightened her, whatever it is, but the bottom line is, they told her, you have here God name that's going to be erased, etc. So she admitted that in the court that she had committed adultery. So then, שבאו על העדים שהיא טמאה, and one about whom witness come and testify that she was defiled. So therefore you have nothing to do with their meal offering. You get rid of them because the moment that she is defiled, then the offering is defiled. That's part of the process in order to clarify her. But if it's already admitted, so and you put that offering in the, so you get rid of that. The atu edim emat. When exactly you meant to say that you get rid, you burn the meal offering? When is the edim, the witness comes? Ileima mikamei detikdosh. If you tell me before they meal offering sanctified inside that sacred vessel, why do you need to burn it? Tipok lechulin. Let it go out of its sanctified state to the state of non-sanctity through redemption. So why will the Mishnah rule that it must be burned? Ella, you have to say that the witness came to testify levatar bekiddush after the mincha was sanctified in the kli sharet. I amar bishlama maim bodkim ota. If you tell me that the water is evaluate how and what's if she's unfaithful, tiglei milta alma bat mikdash umikravi ve'i kadosh miikara shapir kadosh. That if you tell me that it's properly sanctified, and due to that reason her meal offering is burned, so because once an offering has been properly sanctified, it cannot be transferred to a non-sacred status. So they said, וכי קדוש מעיקר השפיר קדוש ומשומר מנחתה נשרפת, אלא היא אמרת, אין המים בודקים אותה, but if you tell me that the water does not evaluate whether she was unfaithful or not, תגלה מילתה למפרע, דכי קדוש מעיקר בטעות קדוש. That he said that once the witness come forth, the matter should be revealed retroactively, that when the meal offering was sanctified on the outset, it was sanctified in error. And therefore, v'teipuk lechuli. So you put it, it's a non-sacred status, and you not burn it. Omar Rav Yehuda midis karta kegon shezinta ba'azara. Here is a case that the act of committed adultery in the temple courtyard after the meal offering had been sanctified in the service vessel. Dechi kadush miikara shapir kadush. So the moment that it was sanctified due to the previous seclusion, it was properly sanctified, as the witness were to the infidelity that occurred in the temple courtyard, not during the time of the seclusion. So they said, Matkif la Rav Mesharshia. Rav Mesharshia objected this notion, and he said, Pirchei kehuna melavinota. When she does this process of ritual, a young Kohanim escort her around the temple courtyard for the duration of the bitter water procedure. So how then could she possibly have committed adultery after her mincha was sanctified in the kli sharet? So they said, Shezinta mipirchei kehuna atzman. Unfortunately, the young Kohanim committed adultery with this woman. Or Rav Ashi amar כגון שנצרכה לנקביה, or when she needs to go to the bathroom and they left her, the young Kohanim, and then she committed adultery. So you mean to say that the young Kohanim are hanging from her head covering so that she will not evade them? Rav Papa amar l'olam k'damrin al miikara, the way we said originally. And when you say that the mincha should go out of its sanctified state to the state of non-sanctity, מדרבנן גזרה שיאמרו שם המוציא מכלי שרת לחול. This is the preventive measure that otherwise people will say that we may remove sanctified offering from service vessel to revert to a state of non-sanctity. So biblically speaking, the meal offering turned to be a non-sacred, a cholin. But the Mishnah that said that it was burn is basically rabbinic notion. Pativ Rav Mari, nitmet minchata, ad shelo kidsha bekli. So he said, if the mincha became impure before it was sanctified in a service vessel, הרהו ככל המנחות ותיפדה. So you treat it as all the other meal offering that was impure after it's sanctified in kli sharet, and therefore you should burn it and you should redeem it. משקדשה בכלי הרי ככל המנחות ותשרף. So then the moment it's sanctified in the vessel, it's like all the other menachot and must be burned. קרב הקומץ ולא הספיק לאכול שיריים עד שמתו. He didn't have a chance to eat the leftover until the husband passed, or עד שמתה he, until the wife passed. הרי ככל המנחות ותאכל. So you treated minchat sotah the same as all the menachot, that you have the kmitza after the kohen bring the komets, the kohanim eating the leftover of the kmitza, the mincha, and therefore the shiraim, the leftover allowed by the kohanim, even the husband and the wife are no longer among the living, and you cannot complete the checking of the sotah process. So they said, she'ala safek bat mitchila, ki pras feika ve'alcha la. Because originally speaking, you came to due to uncertainty as to whether the woman had been unfaithful, and it atoned for her uncertainty and left. It fulfilled its purpose of being sanctified at the time when the husband and wife are still alive. It remains valid afterward as well. באו לעדים שהתמאה, if witnesses came forth before the handful was offered and testified with regard to her that she was defiled, minchata nisrefet, her meal offering is burned. נמצאו עדי הזוממים מנחתה חולין, if the witness who testified about her infidelity are later found to be conspiring, her meal offering is transferred to non-sacred status. עדים זוממים כאמרת. So you mean to say that you bring a source from conspiring witnesses? The cases are not comparable. Why? עדים זוממים קלה itlu. עדים זוממים, they have publicity. People know about it. People know that these עדי סתירה, they are liars. So all the process of השקעה is annulled, and the sanctification of the meal offering was mistake. And then when the meal offering turned to be chulin and unsacred, you have no concern that people mistakenly think that you can take kli sharet lechulin. But the rule of Rav Sheshet, that the idea of Eidei Tumah, avoid the water from being checked, it's unknown. And if you tell me that this meal offering come to a non-sacred manner, people can derive from that you can pick out from kli sharet to cholin. Tanya kvatei de Rav Sheshet. So a braita was taught accordance with the ruling of Rav Sheshet. Velav mitamei, and it's not only for the reason that we expressed earlier, because the Torah said in the book of Bamidbar chapter 5 verse 28, tehora. So tehora meaning that she's pure. So then she will be innocent, the Torah said. So tehora, it looks like is superfluous. Torah, it's come and teach us ולא שיש לה עדים במדינת הים. So it's not that she have witnesses overseas who, although she too survives the water, does not bear seed as a result. Utorah, and the pure teaches that only woman who is pure will bear seed, velo, and not the one who's saved from that manner, shetalta lazechut, that this is not happen in the case when the marriage delays punishment for her, and she consequently does die immediately after drinking the bitter water. So they said, ולא שלדה זכות היא ולא עד שיסו ויתנו בה מוזרות בלבנה. And the word she, which is he, it's her infidelity is discussed by waver in the moonlight. Meaning, you have a woman that sitting at the group while spinning thread in the moonlight and gossip about the going on in the city, typical yentes. So if they discuss her having committed adultery, then it is considered public knowledge, and the bitter water will not evaluate her in that case, as evaluation is no needed. So how Rabbi Shimon react to that? So Rabbi Shimon that said that any zchut will not me'akevet, will not delay the checking of the water. So they said nehi devav lo darish, he does not derive, get it from the expounds of the extra letter vav from the tehora. Ha'ika, we have this case of Sotah, page 7, יש לה עדים במדינת הים, that there are witnesses for her in the country overseas who can testify that she engaged in a intercourse, and therefore when the bitter water will not evaluate her faithfulness. So Rabbi Shimon, as a result, should be concerned that such dispensation will result in the defamation of the untainted women and drank that were unaffected. And they said, lo shchicha, this is something that is too much not common, and people not have in their mind this possibility, so therefore they're not going to suspect those who are pure and say that they are impure. Only when you have adim, when you have witnesses for their tum'atam, for their state of ritual impurity. So the Rambam tells us in Hilchot Sotah chapter 4 that the meal offering of the Sotah is transferred to a non-sacred status if the witnesses who testified about her are found to be conspiring witnesses.